Welcome back to today's episode of Your Daily Scrum. I'm professional Scrum trainer Ryan Ripley. With me is Todd Miller, professional Scrum trainer, co-author of an awesome book, Fixing Your Scrum, and my partner in Agile for Humans with a top Scrum training company. Partner in crime? No. Dude,
Agile for Humans?
We are running a legitimate business. It is the premier Scrum training organization on the planet. Agile for Humans, where you can come to get all of the wonderful scrum.org courses and a few of our own. So check it out at agileforhumans.com. But hey, that's not why we're here.
Yeah, the questions keep rolling in, Ryan, which we love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. We love it. Every time we get a question, we're like, wow, people are watching and they're interested and they took time to message us. That is amazing.
So they're making us really busy, which we're cool with.
We like that too. And so there's a comment section, like here somewhere in like that area. Go ahead and leave us a comment with your question, your thoughts. Perhaps you've seen this situation as well. We'd love to hear how you're doing with these things. But today, Todd, how do I make the developers attend the Daily Scrum? I've gotten this in probably a ton of PSM classes. I'm not going to say every class, but a lot of them, this comes up.
I've thought about this myself. I've been in this situation before. Or maybe it's not even attending, it's getting them to not show up like this.
Yeah. Right. They kind of like there, but not present.
Yeah. I'm tired of this type of deal.
So there's something about this question that always sticks out to me. And there's a lot of questions like this, where at the core of the question is, how do I make someone do something they don't want to do? And let's get this out of the way. We can't make anyone do anything, especially in a Scrum Master role.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And this brings to mind too, like the idea behind coercing people to do things, right? So like coercion, meaning maybe we coerce people into doing something because Daily Scrum has snacks every day, or like, thou shalt do this because Scrum says. So you're absolutely right. You can't make people do anything, and you shouldn't coerce them into doing it.
You know, it's interesting. I'll go ahead and add this as I try to talk and type. You know, a good friend of ours, Esther Derby, she has this great quote. People do not resist change. They resist coercion. See if I spelled that right. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments if I haven't, but people do not resist change. They resist coercion. So people don't, no one wants to be told what to do. And so we can't make anyone do anything, right? That's a great Esther Derby quote. Check out her book. She has a great new change book out, that 7 Rules for Change, which is amazing. Helps us avoid this, making people do things they don't want to do. Instead, I think there's a better question. Let's refine the question a bit, right? How do we make the Daily Scrum valuable to developers? I think this is kind of interesting, Todd.
This is really interesting. And I remember, how many debates have you been in when people were like, why isn't the Daily Scrum a status meeting?
Right.
It is not a status meeting. So I remember many, many, many debates over that. And so by making it valuable, I think we should remember that it is not for anybody but the developers. And it's actually a planning meeting, isn't it, Ryan?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with the idea that the Daily Scrum is not a status meeting. And actually, I'm going to put that up here just so that we're super clear about that. The Daily Scrum is not a status meeting. But how do we make the Daily Scrum valuable to developers? I think Todd made a great point here. It's by and for the developers. The Daily Scrum is for the dev team, and it's not to collect status. We're not submitting our report in triplicate at the end of the Daily Scrum. We're not there trying to figure out progress. Look, the Daily Scrum is a planning event. Okay? For 15 minutes, the developers are going to get together and figure out, how do we make progress towards our sprint goal in a collaborative, effective way? Right? And they're going to track that progress and make sure that things aren't getting stuck. You know, that post-it on the wall that just can't seem to move. If they see that, if item aging, awesome flow metric for your Daily Scrum, by the way, if item aging is off the chart, maybe they'll decide today we're going to swarm to move that piece of work. Or maybe Todd and I are going to pair up in the afternoon because Todd's better at testing software than I am, and I'm stuck on whatever it is. We're going to have this collaborative discussion about how we're going to best work together to make progress towards our sprint goal. That's it. It's not problem solving. It's not status. It's nothing other than a planning event to figure out the best way to collaborate for today.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note here too that as we're planning and we're thinking about it, this isn't the only time developers talk, right? We get that too. Shouldn't developers? Of course, they should be talking all day, every day. This is a time, though, as a group of developers, we get together and we look at the big picture of the sprint. And it's just 15 minutes. That's
Todd, I love this because we get this question a lot too, where people are like, well, yeah, but what if there's an impediment we need to report? Or what if we have a question for the product owner? Or what if we need a stakeholder's input? Well, at the end of your daily scrum, which is just 15 minutes, there's this space called the rest of the day. All of those things fit beautifully in that container, right? There's the rest of the day. So that's allowed, right? But for those 15 minutes, figure out how to best collaborate. And I can almost guarantee if the devs realize it's about them and it's beneficial to them because they're figuring out their collaboration and how to make progress, and it's not status, and it's really about them working together as a team, they're far more likely to attend. All right.
Yeah.
We'll give one more pro tip before we end this edition of Your Daily Scrum. Change the format. Look, Scrum Guide 2020, the 3 questions are gone.
And we largely have talked for many years, Ryan, that we felt that was a pretty rudimentary introductory type of way to do the daily scrum, right? But teams that have been together for 2 years are still doing it. And you get to there, and I've been lucky to observe thousands of these across hundreds of different teams, and there's just stand in a circle, almost like zombies, right? Shout out to Christian and Barry for their fixing zombies, almost like zombies, right? Their daily scrum, going through the routine of it. There's so many other options. There are so many other options. Ryan, you mentioned flow-based metrics, concentrating on work item age.
Todd, you know what? We cover so many options in fixing your scrum. I think the listeners and watchers out there, check out Fixing Your Scrum, Practical Solutions to Common Scrum Problems. Look, we cover this. We talk about it. We'll give you one hot tip here. Todd mentioned item aging and flow metrics.
Huge.
Just talk about those. What's aging? What's getting too old? What's not moving? What's not progressing? What a great way to flip the script and change the format.
100%. Find different ways,
All right. You know what, Todd? I think we're at our time box. And so thank you for watching. We love it that you're sending questions, you're hitting us up on the socials, which are listed there. All of those work and get questions to us. agileforhumans.com is a great place to find out how to even find more information about Todd and I. Classes and books and way to reach out are all there. Subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. Make sure that you can find future episodes, right? That's a way to smash, right, Todd?
Smash the like button.
There we go. All right, so that's today's edition of Your Daily Scrum. We will be back tomorrow.
We will.